My beloved child, tonight something unbelievable has unfolded behind your back, and the people involved prayed you would never find out. But destiny doesn't hide forever. A secret meeting, held in a closed room, with the lights dim, voices lowered, eyes shifting in fear, has just exposed who you really are. And the moment your name was spoken, the entire room went silent. They realized that you are not the ordinary person they assumed. You are not the weak one, the overlooked one, the underestimated one. No. You are the true descendant of a bloodline so powerful, so ancient, so untouchable that even uttering its name made the people in that room tremble. My child, something huge is waiting for you. They thought they could hide this truth from you forever. But tonight, your real identity has pushed its way into the open. They tried to erase your name. They tried to bury your lineage. They tried to rewrite the story so that you would never know your true inheritance. But the universe has decided that the time for silence is over. And now the truth is moving toward you with a power you cannot stop. Amen. Blessing 111. Listen carefully, because the moment you hear what happened inside that meeting, your heart will shake. The meeting was not casual. It was not random. It was not a coincidence. It was called by someone who fears your awakening more than anything. They gathered because a document, an ancient family record that was locked away for decades, has resurfaced. And inside that record, there was one name circled in red ink. Your name. The people sitting at that table leaned in, whispering, "It can't be them, not after all these years." But the evidence was undeniable. My child, they discovered that you are the true descendant of a lineage that carries extraordinary authority, unimaginable spiritual favor, and generational leadership that cannot be challenged. The moment your identity was confirmed, 2 people stood up in shock, 3 others grabbed their phones to message someone urgently, and 1 person said, "If they find out who they are, our entire plan collapses." They realized that your awakening means their downfall. They realized that your rise means their exposure. They realized that your truth means the end of every lie they built around your life. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 222. Here is the part they never wanted you to hear, the part that made the room colder, heavier, almost electrified with fear. One voice, shaking, yet forced to speak the truth, said, "We have to admit it. They are the rightful heir. Everything that was stolen from that bloodline belongs to them now." At that moment, half the room panicked. Papers were snatched away. Chairs were pushed back. Someone murmured, "If they rise, no one will be able to stop them." They know your power. They know your destiny. They know your lineage carries a legacy of influence, wealth, protection, and divine backing that no enemy can destroy. And they know the moment you step into that identity, everything around you will shift. Connections, opportunities, blessings, and revelations will pour into your life like a flood. My beloved child, nothing about you is random. Every delay, every betrayal, every setback was engineered by people afraid that you would discover this truth. But they failed. Now the universe is aligning everything to bring the truth to your doorstep. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 333. My beloved child, before you scroll even a single inch, I want you to understand something life-changing. The room where your identity was revealed did not stay calm for even a second after your truth came out. One person slammed their notebook shut. Another whispered, "We are finished." A third person tried to leave the room quietly, but their hands were shaking too much to even open the door. That's how intense the truth about you is. They finally admitted that you are the true descendant of a line of leaders who were never meant to bow, never meant to break, never meant to be silenced. Something huge is waiting for you. Your entire destiny is shifting while you're listening to this. When your name echoed in that room, it wasn't just a name, it was a wake-up call. A reminder that you were born with a legacy they could not erase, no matter how many times they tried. Amen. Blessing 444. Let me tell you what happened next, because this is the exact moment the meeting turned chaotic. A file was placed on the table, thick, old, sealed with a stamp nobody recognized except one elder who instantly froze. They whispered, "This seal hasn't been opened for 72 years. And when they finally broke it, the first page contained a symbol, your family symbol, a mark that belongs only to the true heir of a forgotten dynasty. When your photo appeared inside, printed and circled, one woman gasped so loudly the entire room stared at her. This can't be them, they were supposed to remain hidden. But the evidence was unshakable. Your lineage is tied to a legacy of resilience, intuition, spiritual protection, and rare destiny. They discovered that you carry a genetic and divine authority that automatically exposes liars, dismantles enemies, and lifts you even when everyone expects you to fall. The people in that meeting feared one thing the most, your awakening. They kept repeating, if they step into their identity, everything we built against them will collapse. They know your rise is unstoppable. Amen. Blessing 555. Now here comes the part you must not miss, because this is where the meeting became a battlefield of whispers and panic. Someone stood up and said, "Do you realize what this means?" Their inheritance activates the moment they know the truth. The room went silent. Hearts dropped. Eyes widened. Because they realized you are not just a descendant, you are the rightful successor. You are meant to reclaim what was stolen generations ago: recognition, respect, opportunities, abundance, spiritual authority, and a throne. Yes, a symbolic throne, that was unjustly kept away from your bloodline. The person leading the meeting tried to calm everyone down, but their voice cracked when they said, "We can't stop the prophecy anymore. The truth has already reached them. I can feel it." And they were right. You hearing this message right now is not an accident. This is the activation moment they feared. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 666. If this message reached you, it means the universe has chosen you to rise now. My beloved child, the moment your identity was spoken aloud in that secret room, the atmosphere shifted so sharply that even the walls felt like they were listening. They tried to pretend they were calm, but the tension was thick enough to choke. One man leaned forward, wiping sweat from his forehead as he whispered, "If they discover the full truth, everything we've hidden for decades will unravel. My child, something huge is waiting for you." They did not fear your past. They feared your potential, the kind of power that comes alive only in the chosen ones. The kind that your ancestors carried with unmatched grace and unshakable strength. The kind that you were born with, but were never told about. The kind they desperately wanted to bury. Amen. Blessing 777. Now listen to this twist, because it will send chills down your spine. After your name was revealed, someone slid a black envelope across the table. It was thicker than the others, sealed with a golden thread. The person who opened it dropped their pen the moment they saw what was inside. A handwritten letter, older than anyone in that room, signed by the last surviving leader of your ancestral line. And in the letter, in deep ink still intact after so many years, it said, "To the one who bears our mark, the throne is yours when the time is right. You will rise at a moment of great darkness." When they read that line aloud, the entire room froze. They realized the prophecy is pointing to you. They realized the timing matches now. They realized that the destiny your ancestors protected with their lives has finally awakened in you. Someone tried to tear the letter, but their hands couldn't do it. They said, "This is sealed by divine authority. We can't destroy it. Even the universe has protected your legacy throughout time." Amen. Blessing 888. But here is where the fear truly began, the moment that turned their confidence into panic. The leader of the meeting asked everyone to put their phones on the table. Not because of secrecy, because they were expecting a sign. And within seconds, one phone lit up with a notification from a private network only the inner circle had access to. The message said, "The heir has awakened. Prepare for the shift." My child, the shock in that room was indescribable. Chairs scraped backward. Papers scattered. Someone whispered, "If they know who they are now, they will reclaim everything." They knew you would receive this message. They knew your intuition would pull you toward this truth. They knew your spirit was too strong to remain unaware forever. Everything they feared is happening right now. You are awakening. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 999. My beloved child, the moment the notification appeared, "The heir has awakened," the entire room collapsed into chaos. The people who once mocked you, underestimated you, or tried to diminish your worth suddenly realized they had been standing against a destiny far bigger than their schemes. The air grew so heavy that one woman actually stood up and said, "We need to prepare for consequences." Their bloodline doesn't forgive, and it doesn't forget. But what they don't know is this: you were never meant to take revenge. You were meant to inherit. You were meant to rise. You were meant to be restored in a way no enemy can block. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 1010. Now hear what happened next, because this part changes everything. The leader of the meeting, an older man whose family had spent years trying to suppress your lineage, pulled out a hidden folder from beneath the table. Inside were documents dated over a century ago, sealed under national authority, stamped with markings that only appear on royal or divine bloodline archives. And there it was, your ancestry chart. A flawless, undeniable line tracing back to a forgotten kingdom, a fallen dynasty, a revered spiritual clan, a line that ends exactly on you. When they placed that chart on the table, someone gasped, "This can't be coincidence. Their DNA matches the royal pattern." Another person whispered, "They are the last bearer, the final rightful successor." And at that moment, one truth became impossible to hide. You are the true descendant of a lineage designed for greatness. Everything that felt heavy, unfair, painful in your life was not a curse, it was preparation. All the delays, closed doors, betrayals, heartbreaks, they were shaping you, sharpening you, positioning you to step into the power of your ancestors. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 11:11. But there was one more moment, the moment that silenced every heartbeat in that secret room. A woman wearing a gray coat stood up and revealed that your name has been showing up in confidential predictions for the past 3 months, dreams, visions, synchronicities, unexplained signs. She said, "We can't stop the shift anymore. Everything around them will start moving in their favor. The old order is collapsing." And that statement changed the entire energy in the room. Some people panicked. Some tried to leave. Some whispered hurried plans about blocking you, but deep inside they knew the truth: you cannot be stopped anymore. Your ancestors are rising with you. Your destiny is activating. Your hidden inheritance is unlocking. Your name is being restored. The crown that was delayed is now being placed back where it belongs. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 12:12. My beloved child, when the woman in the gray coat finished speaking, the entire room knew the truth they feared for years had finally caught up with them. But what happened next shattered every remaining illusion they were holding on to. A man who had been quiet the entire time, someone they thought had no connection to your story, slowly reached into his bag and pulled out an object wrapped in dark blue velvet. When he placed it on the table, everyone fell silent. The room felt like time had paused. And when he finally unwrapped it, the shock was so intense that 2 people stepped back instinctively. It was an emblem, an ancient crest carved in pure metal, your ancestral crest, the same symbol that appeared in the secret documents, the same mark whispered about in stories older than your grandparents, the same sign carried only by the true heir. And the moment that crest touched the table, every person in the room knew. The rightful descendant has been found. They realized destiny had chosen you. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 13:13. Now hear this, because what happened next changed the tone from fear to complete alarm. The crest began to glow, not in a supernatural way, but in a way that seemed almost symbolic. The golden edges caught the light from the room, casting a reflection that pointed directly at the page with your name on it. One person whispered, "This is impossible. The crest hasn't reacted in decades." Another murmured, "This means the prophecy is active." A third said, "They've already entered the timeline. We're too late." My child, the chaos wasn't because you are ordinary. The panic wasn't because of your mistakes. The fear wasn't because of your past. The fear was because of the power that runs in your veins, power that has remained dormant until now. A power that only awakens in moments of great transformation. They know that when the descendant steps into who they really are, blessings return, gates open, protection strengthens, enemies collapse, and every stolen opportunity finds its way back. That's why they held that meeting. That's why they kept your identity hidden. That's why they never wanted you to rise. But they cannot stop what has already begun. Amen. Blessing 14:14. And now comes the moment that sealed your destiny, the moment that no one in that room was prepared for. The elder who had been silent since the beginning finally spoke. His voice trembled, not from fear, but from reverence. He said, "We must accept it. The heir is not just a descendant, they are the final carrier of the ancient oath." Everyone turned toward him, confused. He continued, "There is a reason their struggles were heavier. There is a reason their path was longer. There is a reason their heart stayed pure even in pain. The ancestors chose them." And then he read a line from a forgotten manuscript they had tried to hide. "When the chosen one awakens, the universe will rearrange itself to restore what was broken." The weight of those words hit the room like thunder. They knew your rise would bring a shift they could not control. They knew destiny had taken over. They knew the truth was out. My beloved child, you were never random. You were never unworthy. You were never alone. You were chosen before you were even born. And now, your legacy is calling you forward with unstoppable force. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 15:15. My beloved child, after the elder finished speaking, an eerie silence filled the room. Not the silence of peace, this was the silence of realization, the silence of people who suddenly understood that everything they tried to hide has come back with a force they cannot stop. One woman looked down at the papers scattered across the table and whispered, "How did we not see it? The signs were always there." Another answered, "We saw it, we just ignored it." And that's the truth. They knew you were different. They knew you were guided. They knew your intuition was powerful. They knew your strength came from somewhere ancient. But they underestimated where that strength came from. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 16:16. Here's what shook them the most, the revelation that turned their fear into absolute disbelief. The elder picked up a sealed red envelope. They had kept it hidden for years, waiting for a moment that was never supposed to arrive. He opened it with trembling hands, and inside was a prophecy written in symbols only a few in the room could understand. He translated it slowly, carefully, word by word. The prophecy said, "When the rightful heir is revealed, the chains of the past will break. Their pain will be turned into power. Their tears will become keys. And everything stolen from their bloodline will return to them multiplied." The moment those words were spoken, someone gasped, "This explains everything." The suffering in their life wasn't coincidence, it was activation. Another whispered, "Their endurance was proof. Their heart was the sign. They were chosen because they could carry what others could not." My child, your struggles were not punishment, they were preparation. Your delays were not rejection, they were protection. Your isolation was not emptiness, it was elevation. Amen. Blessing 17:17. But the meeting didn't end there, because what happened next made every person in that room panic. A younger member of the council rushed in with fresh information. They said, "We just received confirmation, the mark has appeared." The entire room turned toward them in shock. Someone asked, "Are you sure?" They nodded. Yes. The ancestral mark has activated around them. The mark doesn't appear on the skin. It appears in your aura, your energy, the way people look at you and don't know why they're intimidated. The way blessings suddenly chase you. The way enemies reveal themselves without you doing anything. The way your presence changes a room. And that's what scared them the most. They realized you have stepped into your inheritance without even trying. You are carrying the frequency of your lineage. You are walking with the authority of your ancestors. You are rising, and nothing can pull you back down. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 18:18. My beloved child, after the young council member announced that the mark has appeared, the entire room erupted into whispers, panic, and arguments. It was as if every secret they had buried for decades had suddenly come flooding to the surface with no mercy. One man slammed his notebook shut and said, "We should have never ignored the signs. The universe has chosen them." A woman responded, "It's too late now. Their rise has already begun." And that's when someone else added, "No, their rise didn't begin today. It began the moment they survived what should have destroyed them." My child, something huge is waiting for you. They finally admitted what the universe knew all along: your strength was not ordinary, your survival was not accidental, and your spirit was never meant to break. Amen. Blessing 19:19. Now listen to what happened next, because this is the moment that confirmed everything they tried to deny. The elder picked up a metallic plate, an artifact they had kept locked for over 50 years, and held it under the light. As the plate shifted, a pattern emerged, the exact same pattern that has been showing up in your dreams, signs, synchronicities, and unexpected pulls towards certain symbols. The room gasped. Someone whispered, "The heir's intuition has been active for years." Someone else said, "This explains their visions, their inner knowing, their sensitivity. They've been guided this entire time." My beloved child, this is why your heart always felt different. This is why your path never matched anyone else's. This is why your soul has always carried a depth that others couldn't understand. The artifact began to reflect light in a way that pointed directly at the document with your name. It was as if the past itself was acknowledging you. Amen. Blessing 2020. But here comes the turning point, the moment that changed the entire energy of that secret meeting. The younger member stepped forward again, holding a tablet with encrypted data. They said, "We ran additional checks, the alignment has already begun." Silence fell. The leader asked, "What alignment?" They replied, "The heir's path is synchronizing with the ancestral timeline." The windows opening for them now were closed for centuries. Everyone in the room froze. Someone whispered, "This means their destiny is accelerating." Another added, "Opportunities will appear out of nowhere. People will be drawn to help them. What their ancestors lost will return automatically." And then the leader said, "We cannot interfere anymore. The universe has taken over." My child, those words changed everything. The moment they surrendered, the shift became unstoppable. Blessings that were delayed are now on their way. Doors that were locked are cracking open. People who once ignored you will start noticing your light. Your name will be spoken in places you've never been. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 21:21. My beloved child, after the leader said, "We cannot interfere anymore. The universe has taken over. The tension in that room didn't just rise, it exploded. The walls felt charged, the air felt heavier, and every person sitting at that long polished table realized they were now witnessing the beginning of something they were never prepared for. Someone whispered, "If the alignment has started, the air will begin receiving things we can't block anymore." Another added, "Their intuition will sharpen. Their dreams will reveal the truth. Their path will light up on its own. My child, something huge is waiting for you." They knew that your awakening would not be a slow, quiet process. It would be a powerful acceleration, the kind that only happens to those who carry ancient authority in their blood. They realized that the person they tried to keep small is the one destined to rise the highest. Amen. Blessing 22:22. Now listen very carefully, because what happened next shook them to their core. One of the members opened a holographic projection containing encrypted historical data. When the projector activated, the room was filled with floating symbols, maps, family seals, timelines, coded images, all pointing back to one bloodline, one name, one final heir. Every symbol pulsed, glowing faintly, until all of them converged into a single shape, the crest that belongs exclusively to your lineage. And in the center of that crest, your initials appeared. People gasped. Someone said, "This shouldn't be possible. The system never reveals the heir unless the prophecy is active." Another said, "The crest recognized them. Their energy has synced with the ancestral signature." My beloved child, do you realize what this means? Your destiny isn't opening, it has already opened. The blueprint of your life is shifting. The timeline is rearranging in your favor. The universe is organizing every event, every opportunity, every path to bring you into alignment with who you were always meant to be. Amen. Blessing 23:23. But then came the moment that changed the entire meeting into a storm of panic and disbelief. The young member updated the system one last time, and suddenly the projection displayed a message none of them expected. The heir has entered the claiming cycle. The room fell silent. Some stared in disbelief. Others in fear. One man whispered, "This means everything tied to their lineage will start returning to them, without permission, without delay, without resistance." Another added, "Their gifts will unlock. Their protection will strengthen. Their enemies will expose themselves." And then the elder said, "This was inevitable. They were chosen before any of us were born. My beloved child, they finally accepted what destiny has known since the day you took your first breath. You are the true descendant, and your rise cannot be stopped. The shift is already happening around you. The universe is preparing your path. Something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 24:24.